We are on. Hello, everybody. Grab onto those goggles. It is time for the epic engagement adventure. Today, I get to share with you a dear friend of mine from across the pond. You're going to fall in love with her accent, but much more, you're going to fall in love with her because she has got what it takes both to create a business and to survive in business and to thrive in business. Everybody, please meet my friend. This is Sophia Kupse. I hope I got that right. I was doing the stuff before. She taught me how to pronounce it. And I want to open the door. Sophia, tell us who you are, what you do, give us everything.
Oh, hi everyone, and hi RJ. Thank you for inviting me on your podcast today. Well, I am Sophia Kupse, and I'm talking to you direct from the UK, from a city called Bradford, which is buried in the heart of beautiful countryside in the region of West Yorkshire, England. So, whilst I'm here, what am I doing? Well, for the last 30 years, I'm an innovator, social scientist, and holistic practitioner, and I specialise in preventative medicine, which supports sustainable healthcare. So, my mission is really to offer a sustainable alternative to medication for back pain prevention and treatment, which makes me, I suppose, a leader in the UK's green healthcare movement. And I do it through my innovative online programs. They're both award winning. It's called the Mind Body Connection Map, and I've revolutionized the pain recovery system by looking at pain from the psychological side. Rather than just the physical reasons, whilst promoting a more environmentally conscious choices of alternative eco-friendly solutions to treating that pain. So that's what I do here, transforming people's lives by empowering them to take control of their pain with these natural alternatives.
And so when you say preventative medicine, you're not talking about just physical health. You're not talking about just mental health. You're talking about a combination of both, yeah?
Yeah, because intrinsically we're connected, the mind and body. How we think and how we feel feeds into our pain, and in a lot of occasions it creates our physical pain. But even though we're here in 21st century sort of living proof of advanced medicines and times, people still are associating their physical pain with a physical cause. And when you don't have a reason why you wake up one day and you have lower back pain, but you know it's stopping you doing your things you love, where is that pain coming from? And 9 out of 10 people, when I ask, how did it start? I don't know. I just woke up with it. It must have been something I did when I was sleeping. I sat too long at the desk working. I've been driving too many hours, and probably my back's just coming out in pain now. But they never think about what's been on the mind, the level of stress, the worry, the challenges they've been facing, because they can't understand how thoughts become physical things. And it's simple because it transfers through the body through a system called muscle memory, and it starts to store and build up pockets of lactic acid that eventually come out as physical pain. So my mapping system, over the 30 years I've been working in clinical practice, and I developed the mapping system, it shows people what places, people and events in their life, past or present, has created that pain associated with, emotions and stress.
Well, and I think in the Western world, we are really it's not even that we're taught this, but we just compartmentalize those things. Physical, I don't have anything to deal with mental. That's ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like we've got these things in it's like the separated lunch plates when we were kids. Dessert is here, entree is here. I mean, and so that I think that really that disconnection is one of the reasons that we have a chronic illness problem. Would you agree?
Absolutely. And it's interesting, RJ, you go back to compartmentalizing things like when we're children, because that's where we first learn the root of pain. So when you're about 4, 5, 6, you fall down, you graze your knee, then you know it hurts. So then we need to put a plaster on it to feel better. So we know that it hurts when we fall down, and therefore that's the creation of pain. That's how it evolves. But then as we get older and we start onboarding the psychology of emotion and relationships and anything else that's going on in our life, we don't learn that pain can come from our feelings and our thoughts and our stress, but subconsciously we're aware but not consciously, because it's like we don't want to face that it could be emotional rather than just physical. So we're always looking for, the brain defaults into um, its physical cause. It's always going there because the brain's trying to protect you. So it's trying to show you, oh, it must be a physical. And we get stuck in that message rather than saying, well, what's the alternate if it's not physical? Is it something I'm thinking about that's been on my mind that's hurting me emotionally? And then it's getting stuck in the body because through, in the muscle, and that emotion, and that, because we're all energy at the end of the day, and that energy becomes stuck in that muscle group. And what happens is when you're feeling upset, you produce chemical changes in the body. So you're pumping out adrenaline and cortisol, which is your fight and flight. And if you're not burning it off quickly, what's happening to that adrenaline? Well, it gets converted to lactic acid, and then it starts to build and block in the muscle tissue. And over time, that's days, weeks, months, or even years, we suddenly have a chronic problem on our hands. And the go-to is what? Opioids and painkillers, which are addictive, and then cause another set of issues, doesn't it?
Yeah. A whole different slate of problems. Absolutely, it does. Well, gosh, and I think that just the simple. It really is simple when you think about it. That things
Mm.
that hurt here eventually kind of work out to hurt here as well. And if we're not really, we're not really folks who kind of listen when our bodies speak. It's more like, oh, I just assume I'm getting old here.
Uh, 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 yeah, absolutely. It's about, I like that, listening to the body and translating what the language is, what it's saying to me. So if I got a stomach pain, you straight away say, oh, it's because I've eaten something. But if it's a persistent stomach pain and then you haven't eaten anything and it's still going on, what is that pain associating with then? And we know now that the brain is very strongly connected to the gut. We talk about the microbiome and the gut response. And in research, we think about, is the stomach now, the gut, the primary brain, and the brain secondary? What comes first? Because as soon as you think, in a millisecond, that thought lands in the gut. It has an effect in that stomach area. So, but we're not looking at the big picture here. We're just sat in, like you said, the same old responses, and therefore we're going to have the chronic pain and problems start to develop. And we're living longer. So we better start looking at, it's best to start looking at more natural solutions, because the body has a natural way of healing itself if you give it a chance. But I don't think we do. We rush into the medication side because we're desperate to get on top of that pain without thinking it through, especially when the doctor's diagnosed there's nothing on the x-ray. You can't see emotions on the x-ray, by the way, or scans. There's no illness or disease. The blood tests come up fine. So what is it? The pain's still there. So why is it showing up?
Yeah. What led you to get into this type of work?
Well, that was my first journey into. I head-on collision with a drink driver on Christmas Eve when I was 23, so over 35 years ago. So I, was doing a normal day-to-day job, came out of midnight mass, got into the car, put the seatbelt on, set off in first gear, and then a pair of headlights came in front of me, and before you knew it, I took the impact, and the car was crushed, and my chest was crushed, and I lost the use of my legs. I didn't. I was given a 3% chance of walking again, and told by the medics back then in 1987, this is it. If medication in physical intervention doesn't help you get back and your sciatic nerve working again, you're going to have life in a wheelchair. So at 23, I just got married. I wanted a family. I believe doctors, and doctors, are like gods to me back then. And they still, are. I think medicine should work together integratively with natural medicine. But anyway, that's a different story. And so I went into a deep depression. I'd never felt that before because I couldn't walk and I didn't know what to do. And I believed what I was told, that, this is it. And then I got given two books, Louise Hay, You Can Heal Your Life, and Susan Jeffers, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. And I realized that I had everything within me and within here to start making a difference in my own healing. And over 3 or 4 months, every single day, visualizing and starting to change the language I was talking to myself internally, started to change the way my body was responding to what was going on. And I started to move and walk. And even though after 3 months I was walking with a walking stick, I was walking, but I had empowered my mind through a change of language and saying, what I can do rather than focusing on what I can't do. And that's what my body needed to trigger that change. And that's what got me into this, because when I presented myself to the consultant, really excited about, if I've done it, so many other people can do it. And he wasn't interested. Go and have a nice life, he said. You're 1 in a million. I'm not bothered. So I walked out of the office and I changed my career. I went to study and got my master's in research and practice, and built two successful practices, one in Harley Street, London, and one here in West Yorkshire, where I could educate people and empower people to understand it's, if you change that self-talk and that inner language, you can start to heal more than you think.
It really is more than what you think. It really is. There are so many answers out there that are, a bit different, than what we've been taught sometimes. Um, Holy moly. Well, so that's kind of what got you in there. What keeps you going? What lights you up about being able to help people transform their lives, help people transform their pain?
I think it's because, RJ, it's seeing the face of the person when you they come when I work with somebody, they already have an idea that it's more than just a physical, but they want to be proven right, so they don't give too much away. So we get to know about the physical story and the medication and how long their chronic pain's been going. And then when they start, and I measure the pain score. So I use a system called the MyMop and the MyCore, which are accredited tools in the NHS that measure pain. And I see someone week one, and I can do it over Zoom, or I see them in the face-to-face clinic. And then by the 7 days later, I rescore them again, and I see them, and their pain has improved by 50% without medication or starting to reduce their medication. So how's that possible? Because in the first clinic session, I'm not physically touching them. We're talking about what's been going on in their emotional world, and then we start plotting from the map a timeline, and then suddenly you see their faces light up and think, oh gosh, absolutely. And they connect the death of the mother, and the issue at work, the bullying with the boss, or the struggle with their personal relationship has led to the pain. And then by starting to change the way they look at their problem, the issue, and see it in a different way, they reverse that pain. The pain just reduces. And I think to me that lights me up, knowing that I've enabled someone to see a different side in dealing with pain that helps them reduce or come off medication that they no longer need, because they're using eco-friendly solutions that are natural. It's simply a mindset change to change behavior. And it's that drives me to this very day from to continue to do it. So instead of retiring or reducing my hours because I had a big birthday last week, I'm actually starting new practices, like to inform people through my um, vlogs and through my social media streams of YouTube and my new wellbeing radio show. So that's what drives me, I think, to see somebody get out of pain quickly, because when you're pain free, you have such an improved quality of life. Um, and I think if you've ever been in pain, you'll know that when you're in pain, there's very little you can do.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the truth. I mean, whenever I get sick, it's just brought very painfully sometimes front and center about how much, if you do not have health, mental, physical, you do not have much, and cannot do much. So yeah, well, so talking about, kind of your, social media and your the new the radio. Uh, what do you do to engage your audience? How do you, they first hear of you. How do you engage them beyond that?
I think it is the way forward now. I mean, I'm a published author. I've done 3 self-care books now that have become bestsellers on Amazon, and but we know now that people aren't just going to be reliant on books, because we're time poor, and people need you to be out there visible on platforms, on your Instagram. And this isn't my day. I mean, I just learned PowerPoint 5 years ago. I mean, I wasn't brought up in this level of social media, but you know what? I've got to get with it. So I took on board the local BCB radio in Bradford, looking for new presenters, and I thought, yeah, go for it. Present my own health and well-being and educate 40,000 listeners or whatever. And so that's new. I do a virtual clinic once a month. That's absolutely free for anybody. They just come onto my website, they register for a free ticket, and they've got 60 minutes of education and can ask me anything they want about their pain and how I can help them change it. So it's proactively engaging on daily 60-second, did you know, if you've got pain in XYZ here, that you can do this and it's going to work quicker than a paracetamol. I mean, these little top tips and shares are how I keep people informed on my social media, as I said, and the radio and the virtual clinic.
I love that virtual clinic idea. I absolutely love it because it's, I have found in, and I've been to a lot of college. Let me tell you, I got 3, 4, 5 degrees over here, and the loans to prove it. And education is not necessarily an event. It is a journey. Learning about how to listen to when your body's talking to you is not an event. It is a journey, and so you are supporting that by saying, yeah, we're time poor. Uh, you know, we have a 3 or 4 hour thing we could do, or we'll just give them a little bit, a little bit at a time. That's how people are really folding knowledge into their existence now. It used to be, oh, do a half a day, workshop or something like that. Okay, those are good, nothing against them, but what you are doing now is so important, and it just kind of goes to show you're demonstrating what you're talking about by folding it into what people can handle, and focusing on the right way to deliver this knowledge. I just think that's awesome.
Yeah, because then that's why I did the three online support digital tools. That means people can inexpensively have a lifetime access to it. They can do it in in their own comfort, their own home. They can listen to. They're all in 5 minute segments. They can just click and learn about how to triage their pain, how to deal with acute pain quickly, or chronic pain, or what emotion is connected to that muscle in my body, and it all tells a story, so they can have these quick fix solutions now that only take a few minutes at their fingertips. And I think that's what people want now, not like sitting, like you say, for a full day workshop. That's exhausting, or trying to access me, um, you know especially if I've got a wait list. So I think it's important that these tools are available, and resources, because that's the way forward, isn't it?
It really is. You'll give me some of these links so that I can put these out to people, won't you?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I'll share the link to my website so people can go to mbhtraining.com and then look at the resources or access virtual clinic. And I absolutely adore your cat. I watch all your podcasts, Archie, and you always have that sneaky, and they're always wanting to get in on the show, just
They
like
are.
mine. But the thing is, yes, I will, because I think it's important that people, if they don't start to I don't want to see people when they're being reactive. I like people to be proactive, because when we get proactive, we prevent pain and chronic disease. And like you said earlier, your health is your wealth. And once you start buying into pain, it's going to start to disempower you, and your quality of life is impacted. And then the low mood, the poor sleep, the stress happens, and accelerating aging. So if people want to stay youthful on the outside, they have to take care of the inside. And that means start telling a different story mentally. So physically, they can really start to live the best life, optimize themselves.
Optimize. That's the word for it. Optimizing, being able to listen and respond to what your body's saying. It's not just I'm getting old. I mean, there's lots of things that can happen, and there's lots of things that can be done. And you know, we're not helpless when it comes to our health. And I think that I'm so glad you're out there spreading that message and letting people know, that it's not, you don't have to change everything all at once, but maybe this coupled with this, and maybe this little mindset right here, you can start to enjoy a better life right now, today. I think that's
Yeah,
awesome.
uh, and my show's called One Small Step on radio. And the reason is because at the end of every session I work with people, they only have to take one small step every day, and that contributes to their wellness. And if you live in the UK, it's very difficult to get to a doctor nowadays, because since COVID, everything's changed. So people have got to do it more and more, start taking better care. And if my processes can help and solutions, that's a win-win for me, but for them as well.
And you help people all over the world.
Globally, yeah. When I did it, when I was in the clinic in Harley Street, used to see my global, clients. But now I work, full time online, and people can connect with me from the Emirates. I've got people in Australia and the US working, and Europe. So uh, as long as you can speak English, I'm happy to work with you across there, because I'm not bad with Italian. My mum was Italian, but other than that,
There you go. There you go.
We're okay. I can access anyone, and anyone can buy into my programs.
Man, I just, Sophia, it's so nice to have you here. It's so nice to hear different perspectives. It's so nice to hear that we really are so much more powerful than we think we are. And a brilliant accent to boot. Thank you for coming on the show today. You've just been a rock star for us.
Thank you so much for having me, and for the listeners for listening. And don't forget, the only person is to trust yourself first, and believe in yourself, and anything and everything is possible.
Oh, I can't. There's no better close than that. Well, you have it here, Epic Engagement Adventurers. You have it here. You have the truth and wonderful people to bring it to you. Uh, I will see you next week. Same bot time, same bot channel. You know where to find me. And you know, we'll be doing more interviews then. If you have the time and have the inclination, come stop by the wekickbot.com community, where we kickbot, I mean, it's in the name, and do take advantage of the clinics. Take advantage of everything she has to offer. It's important. It's important to take steps. The day that you start is the day that you should have started. Don't worry about it. So that's all I have. Thank you again. And any final words of wisdom, my friend?
Yeah, I mean, as I said, it's everyone serves everybody every day, but the most important person to start with is serving yourself, because when you serve yourself, you can serve everybody else even better.
Oh, I needed to hear that today. Okay, now the cat is just on the camera, as you could probably see by the whiskers there. So we're going to go. See you all later.